Welcome back to RMT Preppers. We're going to start a new little series for survival basics. We have a ton of knowledge that we've learned over the years through internet and friends through the prepper community, but we haven't been able to apply much of it at all since we're still living in suburbia. Today what we're going to do is sharpening a knife. This knife I got from work. It's a little $15 no name, won't cut you at all, it's so dull, and actually just found it laying around. And just to show, yeah, it's not going to cut anything, it's not going to cut your fingers, it's really dull. So I've tried sharpening it once, and from what I thought I was doing it right, no, I was doing it completely wrong. So I watched a couple YouTube videos of other people showing how to sharpen knives correctly, and search on the internet, and now we're going to try the right way to sharpen it, and Triana's going to help me sharpen it today as well. So this is a nice skill to have. It's one thing to have it up in your head, but it's a whole nother thing to actually be able to do what you say. So first we have our test paper, which you already saw, doesn't cut at all. Next thing you need is a sharpening stone. This happens to be about 35 years old from my late grandfather, but he treated it right and it's still perfectly good. You probably won't be able to see on here right now until we get the camera closer, but on a sharpening stone there are two sides to it. There is a rough side for actually doing the initial cutting, and then a smooth side for the fine honing, and what gives you a nice good edge. And what you're supposed to do is basically soak the block in water for 5 minutes prior to actually sharpening it, so the metal fragments that come off your knife don't get stuck in the pores of the stone and completely destroy your stone. So now that we've done that, we're going to transfer it over here, get this out of the way, and we're going to move the camera in closer so this way we can explain and show you exactly what the process is. Okay, now that the stone has been soaking for 5 minutes, I'm going to bring up to the camera a little bit more, and you can see a little more of a roughness on this side. And then on this side, you can see it's a much smoother. That's the honing side.
Vertically.
You might be able to vertically pick it up from the camera. Hopefully you can see this is a darker, rougher side. This is a nice honing side right here. To do this correctly, you do this in 3 sequences. First you do 10 strokes on each side on the blade. That starts cutting it. Then you go back again and do it 5 times on each side, then 3 times on each side, and then a single time on each side. Basically what you're doing at the same time as cutting it, going back and forth the even amount of times, you're making sure that that metal is nice and straight, and that's what will help give you your edge. Now the proper angle for cutting is 20 degrees on most blades. You have to read your manufacturer if you have a more expensive knife. Roughly a 20-degree pitch is a matchstick box, or matchbox right underneath here. Unfortunately I don't have one right now, but that's roughly a 20-degree angle. So basically start at the end here. You keep one finger at the tip, not all the way on the tip, but right here as even pressure, and you slide as you go through it and you work your way to the tip. So I'm going to do 10 on this side, then Triana's going to try on the opposite side. And then we're going to keep alternating back and forth. Then we'll switch over to the honing side. Do it the same sequence again, 10, 5, 3, and 1. And then we'll try the paper again, see what we come up with. Okay, that was a rough cut. Okay, now that we have our 3 sequences done on the rough side, we're going to flip over to the smooth side, do the same thing again. This is going to hone it and really give us that good edge.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we finished both sequences on the knife, both on the rough cutting side and on the honing side. So I'm going to have Triana help me hold this piece of paper now. And let's see what it does.
Hold. It's nice and short too. It's pointy.
The tip came out really well. The blade still needs a lot more work done to it, but it definitely shows a sign of improvement, especially for a cheap $15 blade. So we're going to have to go back and hone it and actually probably cut into it a little bit more. So my suggestion would be for you yourself, if you've never done this before, get a cheap $15 knife, beat the crap out of it, go use it for a few days, and then actually practice with it. Because this is a good skill to have. If you need to make kindling for a fire, if you need self-defense, if you simply just need to open something, it's nice to have a knife. And until I learn how to sharpen a knife correctly, I am not going to go and spend $70 or $80 on a good knife. So this is our practice knife. So
And hunting. That's another one.
yes, yes, you can use it for hunting as well. It'd be very good to have. So there's the basic survival skill that should be developed and honed for yourself. Thank you, and we'll have more videos on this coming up soon.